The interview with BJNN is brought to you by Biz Events, connecting the Central New York business community through events.
I'm Marny Nesher, president of the Business Journal News Network, and I'd like to welcome Cindy Seymour, co-owner of Laci's Tapas Bar and Laci's Real Estate Ventures. Cindy and her wife, Laura Surway, have had many articles written on them, Laci's Tapas Bar, and the community work. Cindy is an entrepreneur and philanthropist giving money and time back to the Syracuse community. She's being honored this year at our Successful Businesswomen Awards that is put on by our sister company, Biz Events. She's being recognized for creating a nonprofit called Serenity for Women that helps women veterans. So Cindy, before we talk about Serenity for Women, I wanted to ask a little bit about you. Where did you grow up? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Military brat.
Okay.
Born in Kansas. Traveled. My father was transferred every 3 years, so we spent 3 years in Germany, which was amazing. Oklahoma, and then we landed in Florida. So I call Florida home.
And you are a reverse transplant? I've heard that term used.
Yeah, I
Okay.
am. It's hot in Florida. It's very hot in Florida. And yeah, and I spent my childhood, I spent my youth, I spent all my time there, so it's time to explore, and upstate New York is beautiful.
And how did you get back to Syracuse?
Laura.
Okay. So, and tell us a little bit about your profession. I hear you've had a few professions.
I have. Started out in the military, United States Air Force. My father was Air Force, both brothers. So it was just kind of a family tradition that we carried on. So joined the Air Force, spent 8 years, and decided it kind of wasn't for me. I was in a career field I wasn't real happy with. So I became a law enforcement officer. And I spent 15, 16 years in law enforcement, and I finished out my career with the United Nations as a peacekeeper in Kosovo.
Well, that's very interesting.
It was.
And that's how you ended that one profession.
It is.
And then you moved into
Culinary.
Right. I mean,
That's
very
weird.
diverse.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, my mother was a not an entrepreneur, but she loved learning. She loved learning, and she always said to me, "Just don't say no. What's the worst thing that could happen to you?" So when I came back from Kosovo, I was floundering a little bit. What I'm going to do? I came back because my mother was diagnosed with terminal cancer. So I sold my house in Tampa, moved in with her in Melbourne, which was the other side. And we would cook together because she was a great cook. So I bought a little cafe, and she and I started cooking there, and she died a month after we opened the cafe, but I'd gotten the bug by then. It's a bug. It's an addiction.
It's a tough industry to be in.
It is, but I think if you do what you love and pick one thing, like I know I couldn't have a restaurant that was open 16, 18 hours, you know, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I couldn't do it. It's too much. I'd be burnt out.
So who was your role model growing up then?
Probably my mom. I'm going to throw that at her, and if she was here, she would say no. But I'm going to say it was her. Her and Eleanor Roosevelt. Both. True. I think both of them strong women. My mother was very strong, and sometimes too strong. But yeah, strong woman, as it was Eleanor Roosevelt. And she and I both, she taught me to be proud of my height, be proud of my size. You know, I can hear her in my voice now. Stand up straight, hold your shoulders back.
It's good advice.
Stand up straight, hold your shoulders back.
So when you need business advice today, who do you seek out?
Laura.
Okay.
Absolutely. Smartest business marketing woman I know.
Very savvy.
Very savvy.
Yes, she is. Is there something you'd like to share about yourself that we may not know?
I'm writing a book. I am writing a book of my time I was in Kosovo for the year there. The title of the book is A Woman Peacekeeper in a Man's War-Making World. And while I was there, it was very tough, and the internet was spotty. We had no electricity, no water, very, very hard. And I kept a journal. And when I found an internet cafe, if I was traveling, I would send that journal to my sister. And her name is Bunny, so inside the book, and she doesn't know this, I hate that. The book is dedicated to her, Dear Bunny. So I sent her all my journals so she would know my heart, and I could talk about it. She printed everything I sent her. She printed everything she sent me. She printed everything people sent her about me, all the articles that were written on me, and then gave me that when I came home. 2 3-ring binders.
So you're still in the process of writing it?
Absolutely.
When do you think you'll be finished?
I'm going to say spring maybe of 19. I'm working with Ellen Yeomans. She's a author, and she has agreed to work through it with me. Like, I will speak, tell my story, she'll edit it, write it, because that's my thing. I can tell a story all day long, but sitting in front of a computer and writing, then I go back and reread and think, how did that sound? That sounded weird. So I'm just going to speak it, she's going to write it, we'll edit it together.
Well, you have to let us know when it's ready.
I will. I absolutely will.
So let's talk about Laci's Tapas Bar. Tell us a little bit about Laci's. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have been there, but we may not know how it began.
Wow, tough one. We love the building. We both fell in love with the building. When it was Pascal's, we used to eat lunch there all the time. Fell in love with the building. Then we saw that it had sold, and we went and supported the gentleman who bought it. We supported them, and then we saw that that failed, and then it sat empty, and we're both thinking, you know, we were at the Palace Cafe, we had a burger joint on James Street, and Laura still had her job, and we thought, you know, we need to do something. We have the money. Laura's always wanted a full-serve restaurant. I was really happy with a little cafe. So we broke into the building a few times to look at it, and then met with the investors, met with the bank.
And actually, that was one of my questions. What did you bring on? How did you invest? By bringing on partners, or you went the traditional route with the banks?
Neither one. We talked to a lot of people, and then we sat down and decided it's best. We took our 401k and paid cash for the building and cash for the build out. So then that would be our retirement. We had something tangible as our retirement.
Wow, I'm not sure that investors would tell you to do something like that.
Our financial guy was like, "You really want to do this?" We both said, "Yeah." We wanted to. We didn't want debt. Restaurants traditionally fail in the first year, and that's what investors and banks kept telling us. And we were jumping through hoops, and we're like, "We have this money. I don't want to jump through anybody else's hoop. Let's just do this."
That's interesting. Is there a plan to expand Laci's at all, or?
I don't think so. We've had a couple of offers. We actually had an offer from Park Slope in New York City. That a couple had a building there. They wanted us to come there. We've had offers for different areas in Syracuse, but we're really happy doing what we do. We're only open 32 hours a week. And it's good for us because we can still have a life and have a business.
And you guys are still involved a lot within the community. So before we talk about the community, can you talk to me a little bit about Laci's Development Company?
Laci's Real Estate Development Company. What we did was, Holly Green neighborhood's a tough neighborhood, was a tough neighborhood, and I'm going to use the word was. When we moved in, we had a lot of people saying, "You're going to fail, you're going to get robbed, you're going to get this and that," and we just weren't going to let it deter us. And there were 3 buildings on the street, on Green Street, that were boarded up and had sat empty for 30 plus years. So Home Headquarters owned them, and we met with Home Headquarters, and they said, "Well, we'll sell them cheap." And we're the type of people where I don't want you to lose money on something that you do for me. So we asked what they had invested, because they're a nonprofit as well. So we paid them what they had into those 3 buildings. So I felt it was equitable and fair. I didn't want to go in with bad karma. And the idea initially was to just put new windows, turn the electric on, curtains, timers on lights.
Kind of basic.
Yeah, so that the lights would come on and off, and it wouldn't be boarded up buildings on the street. And it ended up being, this woman approached us who does manicures, pedicures, facials, massages. She has a great place. And so we built out one of the buildings for her business, and she and her husband live upstairs. They're happy, awesome, fresh nails on Green Street. Then the other one is now 3 apartments that has been sold to another gentleman in the neighborhood, because we don't want to be landlords, but we also don't want these crappy houses. Right. And then the 3rd building, we had Laci's Lunchbox in for a while. And now we have a woman moving in, opening a Latin flair restaurant.
Nice.
Yeah,
And is your goal for you to continue doing this as you see property? And
yeah, absolutely. Buy it, fix it up. But the goal now, we'd like to have someone in mind prior to fixing it up.
Okay.
Because we didn't do that. We just wanted to fix them up and get the street looking better than boarded up houses. Because people that drove down Green Street, that's what they saw. And it's not a good pathway to our restaurant.
Right. And so should people contact you if they're interested?
Absolutely.
Or? Okay.
Absolutely. Please do.
All right. And how should they contact you? What's the best way?
I answer email the best.
Okay.
Cindy at Laci'sTapasBar.com.
There you go. So let's talk about the community a little bit then. You have started this nonprofit, Serenity for Women, which we're going to recognize you shortly.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Well, thank the community. Tell us about what it is.
It is a nonprofit designed, it's very grassroots. We don't have an office, we don't have any tangible anything. We are simply geared at helping women veterans. I'm a veteran, my best friend and now president. I just stepped down from president to founder and let her be president because she has more time. She's a Marine and a retired state trooper, so we both know what it was like to be in male-dominated career fields, but primarily in the military. So we just built 2 tiny homes right on Holly for homeless women veterans. We have 2 wonderful women in there. One's Army and one's Navy.
And how do women vets participate in this program?
We keep a pretty current Facebook and website.
Okay.
So if they know something that's coming up, if they see something that's coming up, please come and help us. Right now we're working on 30 acres of land OCC gave us.
Oh, nice.
We're going to create a Serenity Sanctuary. It's a sanctuary for women veterans.
And how many, is the goal to keep building homes? Okay, and do you have a goal each year, how many you'd like to achieve?
2 a year. We're
Okay.
comfortable with 2 a year. The city's told us that we could put 7 on that lot,
Okay.
but that's kind of too many. I want these women to be part of this neighborhood as well as this neighborhood to be part of these women. It's 100 feet behind their house, and it's all now a community garden.
Nice.
So the community has come in, Cornell has helped us put up a hoop house for growing tomatoes, and we've got pathways and raised beds, and so we're teaching them how to plant, how to grow food.
So if someone within the business community wants to get involved, are you looking for funds? Are you
Always.
looking for volunteers?
Always.
Okay. So how do they find you?
Serenity for Women has a Facebook and a website.
So is it serenityforwomen.com?
It is. No, .org.
.org.
SerenityForWomen.org, and then our Facebook page.
Okay, so maybe this will help other people get involved and contact you.
Please
about
see what
that.
we're doing.
It's the first time I had heard about it, so it's great to learn about it, and that's one of the reasons we love doing events like this and the nonprofit awards. We learn about all these new organizations out there that are being started.
We're just June and I both. We're not those girls. We're not standing on rocks and screaming what we're doing. We're doers,
right.
And then we have people who come on board. Like our volunteer day at the tiny houses, we probably had 100 people there.
So long.
It was nice. Way more than she and I wanted to manage. We called Laura in. You're going to need to tell all these people what to do.
She can spread the word.
She can tell them what to do.
About that. So what do you think is the next step for this nonprofit then?
The sanctuary.
Okay.
Yeah, we have the land verbally committed from OCC. The board has to vote on it still. And we've presented a package to them, 99-year lease. And we promise to be good neighbors and good stewards and not be having loud parties.
I'm sure that won't happen.
I don't think so.
What do you see on the horizon for the Central New York community?
I see good things. I really, really do. I was excited when Ben Walsh got elected because, 1, I know Ben and I adore him. 2, he's an independent. So there's not that Democrat versus Republican stuff, which we hate. We just absolutely hate. And he's such a good, honest, calm guy. Like, I've never seen him riled up. And he's just a good guy. And his wife is good, and they have a great family. And I think he didn't make a lot of promises, pretty smart for him. He didn't make a lot of promises. He just said, I'm born and raised here. This is what I see that needs to be done. And I drive through the streets and I see the potholes that are marked and the lights that are now, the street lights that are now on. I think you're going to see good things from the new administration.
Great. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Thank you for coming, and
Anytime. Thank you.
thank you, to Cindy for sharing some insight with us. And please keep us in mind as we move forward with our other videos. Keep an eye out on our website at cnybj.com, and we hope you'll join us next time.